Look, just get us a beer. I said get us a beer, Chris.
And I said go and clean yourself up first, Mark. You're putting my patrons off their grog, and that's saying a lot. Go and have a bath.
What? You can give me a bath yourself. Anytime you like.
What, and spoil the fun for the rest of the club?
Just give me a beer.
Look, I don't care which boyfriend or husband clobbered you out there. I want you to stop dripping blood all over my bar. Now, either you get yourself cleaned up or you get out.
Yeah, hello, Mount Thomas Police. Yeah, all right, Chris, we'll be right there. Someone's had a go at Mark Davies down the pub.
Not before time.
Been giving you trouble, Mags?
I'm female in age between 12 and 80. Need I say more?
What's up?
Mark Davies is throwing his weight around in the pub.
Want a hand?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Oh, you're not sounding too good.
The police are on their way.
Oh, no need, here's one now. Hey, Robin, where's Batman?
Oh, Mark, I don't need this. Go back to the pub you just came from. Give them the benefit, eh?
Trouble here, Chris?
Wayne's on his way.
I was just upstairs.
I'm sorry, I wasn't sure.
Well, she doesn't think you're up to it, pretty boy.
You been fighting, mate?
Hey, give me a kiss. Does it go fan to the sight of blood, does it?
Hey, leave off. Now, Chris has asked you to go home and clean yourself up. What's it going to be?
Well, you better watch out, Nick. You know why? I might have AIDS.
Yeah, well, that's entirely possible with your watching. Right, time to leave.
Oh, you going to arrest me?
I'm going to take you home.
Want a hand?
Thanks, mate.
I had that under control.
Oh, yeah, we could say that.
Goose. Come on, home now. Are you all right? You look a bit crooked. Do you want to go to the hospital?
Let's go to the nurses' quarters. You know, the old bulk supply.
You listen to me. I've got better things to do than fart round. You can go to the hospital. You can go to the St David's lockup where I ought to take you. Or I can do you a bloody big favour and help you up those stairs. Now, what's it going to be? Go on. Come on. You going or what? Come on, hurry up. Come on, mate, come on. You want to get up the stairs in one piece, don't you? Come on.
Get your hands off me.
Come on, that's it. You go. Come on, you're right, you calm down. You shush up, all right? Come on, in you go. You got your keys? Get your keys out. Get your keys out. Go to the hole. Go on. Right, you sure you don't want to tell me who hit you?
I can take care of my own problems, okay?
It looks like that from me, you dongo. You listen to me. You listen to me? You consider this a warning. I did you a favour bringing you up those stairs. You cut this out. You're over at St David's. You got that? I did you a favour. There you go.
All right.
That's a trout, what do you think?
Nick,
Yeah,
will.
no worries, mate.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, good. Thanks.
What's going on? What's up?
I understand you ran Mark Davies home last night.
Hey, so what?
I just got a call from his father. When Mark didn't show for work this morning, he went round to his flat.
Big deal. The mug's probably hung over. What's the...
Lloyd found him dead. He was okay when you left him?
Yeah, he was fine. He was well enough to take a swing at me. He was okay.
Drunk?
Yep,
Drunk enough to choke on his own vomit.
maybe.
Nick, they're going to be saying you should have taken him over to a 24-hour cell at St David's.
Yeah, I know.
Just how bad was he?
Oh, you know, Mark, he's his usual stroppy self.
Well, you took your time.
Lloyd Davies, this is Detective Hasham and Senior Constable Shaw.
Yeah, I know who they are.
Mind telling us what happened here?
Well, I don't know. The door was open and he was lying on the couch.
So you found the door open like this?
Yeah.
When I left, I locked it.
Get back, guys. Excuse me. Take a look around, Nick. See if anything's been moved.
The bottle and the glass weren't here. That cushion was on the settee. I brought your boy back here last night, Mr. Davies. He was drunk, he'd been in a fight.
And you left him here to die?
When I left here, mate, he was okay.
Mr. Davies is dead, isn't he?
I'm afraid we can't talk about that, Mrs.
Mrs. Clarence. I live in the flat below. You going to arrest the big one?
The big one?
The big policeman.
How do you mean?
I know how you're all meant to stick together, but he can't get away with it, you know.
Get away with what?
I watched them last night. The big one dragged poor Mr. Davies up the stairs as though it was nothing but a bag of old clothes. And then he pulled him inside, and they were shouting at one another. If Mr. Davies is dead, I know who's responsible.
Is Nick in trouble for biffing Mark Davies last night?
He didn't.
You know what I mean.
No.
Well, when I came downstairs...
Adam, it happened in front of a dozen witnesses, all right?
He was doing Mark a favour. He could have arrested him.
If Mark Davies was drunk and being obstreperous, why didn't you arrest him?
His circumstances didn't seem to warrant it.
It's pretty obvious he'd been in a fight.
It was obvious he had blood on his face, but he didn't say he'd been in a fight.
I'll run into the proverbial door then.
I asked him if he'd been in a fight and who with. He wouldn't say. I went and checked his vehicle. It was undamaged.
Thereby ruling out motor accident as the cause of his injuries and strongly suggesting assault.
I told you he wouldn't tell me what happened.
According to Mrs. Clarence's statement, you dragged him upstairs.
I helped him upstairs. At one stage he stumbled and I assisted him to his feet.
And then there was shouting going on when you got him inside.
He took a swing at me. I sat him on the couch and cautioned him not to do that again.
But you still didn't arrest him?
Look, this bloke was a loudmouth. He was a lay. He'd had a skinful, and I thought the best thing I could do for him was to let him sleep it off.
He could have done that at a 24-hour surveillance cell at St. David's.
Yeah, I know that.
And you saw he had injuries and didn't get him medical attention.
The circumstances didn't seem to warrant it. In hindsight, that was a mistake.
Yes, it was.
Nick, the traffic supervisor at St. David's just rang to speak to me. My transfer to traffic's come through.
Good.
Yeah, he'd like to have a chat to you about it when you're free.
Yeah, we're finished for the moment. Looks bad, Tom. We had Mark Davies, we've tossed him back, and now he's dead.
Nick Schultz is a man of extraordinary decency.
I accept that, but Mark Davies is dead. PJ, you share a house with Schultz, you're one of his mates. I want you at arm's length on this one.
I can do my job.
Can you? You didn't ask one question in there. Look, don't take this as a criticism, but you're not exactly going to ask him the hard ones, are you? So why don't you get on your bike and go to Melbourne and sit in on the autopsy? First thing tomorrow morning. Come on, go now. I want you out of this.
Yeah, that. All right, no worries.
Off to Melbourne for the autopsy.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Enjoy autopsies, do you, Cooper? Get you to do the next dozen.
I'm in an overnight in Melbourne.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm staying at my mother's.
Rightio. Gotcha. Let's see it.
Nick.
I don't think Grantham can hear us out here.
Oh, yeah.
Evening.
Okay, off the record. Is there anything you left out?
What?
Well, it's easy enough to confused, embarrassed, you know. If something doesn't matter.
What are you getting at?
Now, Nick, just don't get wound up.
You tell me
right?
why not? Why not?
Look, I'm just saying that...
What you're saying is I've lied to Grantham about an unexplained death. Do you think I'm stupid? You think I'm bent?
I didn't say lie, mate. I'm just saying that...
I shouldn't have to put up with crap like this from you. I thought we were mates.
We are.
And then Senior Constable Schultz threw Davies against the bar.
Did the degree of force seem appropriate?
How many arrests have you ever
Did
actually
the degree
witnessed, son?
of force employed seem too little, just enough, or too much?
Mark Davies was a monumental mason. He threw blocks of stone around for a living. Now, if I'd have been trying to arrest him when he was drunk, I would have gone in hard too. He wouldn't have had a second chance, and Nick would have known that.
It's very interesting, Tom, but I'm not interviewing you. I'm interviewing Constable Cooper here, who witnessed the incident.
Well, yeah, he went in hard.
Hard enough or too hard?
Well, not knowing Davies' reputation, I couldn't tell.
Was there any malice in it?
Sergeant?
Think of it like footy, son. There's tackling, and then there's tackling with malice aforethought. Which was it in this case?
Well, Davies threw a punch, and Nick subdued him. If I was umpiring, I'd say hard but fair. You next, Mags.
Senior Constable Schultz was faced with an intoxicated and aggressive man who had been bleeding. Davies suggested that he may have AIDS. The Senior Constable, in my view, used only such force as was necessary to effect the arrest.
Constable, you sound as if you're giving evidence.
I thought I was, Sergeant.
You're very much a police product, aren't you?
I'm sorry, Sergeant.
Doyle, you know what he's getting at.
I'm from a police family, yes, and I'm in it as a career.
In other words, you're a lifer.
I hope so, yes.
You hope so, yes. And you believe that police can do no wrong?
I've never believed that, Sergeant. I'm simply saying that in this case, Senior Constable Schultz behaved swiftly, effectively, and within guidelines.
You're close to Schultz, are you, Doyle?
Only in a work sense. Sergeant.
Should be right, mate. You reckon?
Yeah.
But you can bring Mark Davies back from the grave, Wayne. Nah, mate, a man's dead. I don't see how that can be okay.
Wayne.
It was a good move. Nick was the closest. He avoided the blood and he subdued Davies with a minimum of force.
Another witness says Schultz threw Davies against the bar.
No way. He pushed him against the bar and he pinned him there, but throwing? No. Quote, Nick threw Davies up against the bar, unquote.
Yeah, well, he did chuck him against the bar.
And that's what you said in there.
I just said what happened.
Now, did I just throw you somewhere?
Let go! Did I? I'd really like to know, because this is all Nick did with Davies.
Yeah, all right. Well, Davies screamed like he was in pain.
Davies was drunk. Drunks scream all the time.
Wayne, if you're finished in there, I'll take you out on the road, all right?
Yeah, sure.
So whether they're moving, stationary...
Going towards you or going away from you.
It's a great little bit of equipment.
Yeah, wonderful toy. Now, once you get up to speed with this, mate, no joke intended, they might bung me on suspension.
No, they won't do that.
Oh, don't be so sure about that. Mrs. Clarence seems to think I'm the murderer.
Autopsy will clear that one up.
Well, I'll tell you what it won't clear up. It won't clear it up why I didn't take him to a 24-hour station, will it?
You can die in one of those.
Yeah, I know that, and you know that.
It's just an accident, mate.
It's an unexplained death, Wayne. That means there'll be an investigation. You know what that means? Anything can happen. How fast are you going?
41.
Go. Let's go play. You can drive.
All right.
Looks like I'm a bit of a heat with your clientele, Chris.
No one said anything to me.
Enjoying your dinner, are you? Yeah, Mark's not enjoying his, is he? Oh, no, Constable, eat up. Go on. Celebrate. Have a good time with your friends.
Look, I'm sorry this bloke's dead.
How are you? You know, it's all over town. You either left him there to die or you killed him. Now, which was it?
Come on, Julie, that's enough. Let's go.
I'm just the poor sap who loved him, and this creep's eating his dinner.
Come on, let's go and have a coffee. Come and sit down.
Oh, I'm leaving. I don't want to be under the same roof as him.
Sorry about that, Nick.
Oh, that's all right. Does she have a name?
Yeah, Jilly Miles works at the Mountain Modes boutique.
Mark's latest, was she?
Next to latest. He dumped her for someone else about a month ago.
Well, if he dumped her, why's she carrying on so much?
Oh, you are a sensitive man.
I don't know, Mum. Nick's probably the best friend I'll ever have. If we're going anywhere, I know he'd be there for me.
This thing that's happening, it's no good, huh?
No, it's not.
Patrick, why don't you get married?
Because I never met a woman like you, Mum.
Don't flirt with your mother. Come on, I mean it. You're talking to me like a man should be talking to his wife. How often do you talk to people like this?
Not often.
Mr. Tough Guy, you need a woman in your life.
Mama, there are women.
I didn't say women. I said a woman. You smile. Patrick, you can't find a woman like me. Because at your age, even I wasn't one. Young women grow into women like me. You marry a little sapling, and later you find you live with a beautiful old tree. Understand?
You never told me this before.
Oh, because I thought everybody knew. This Hillary, the one you brought home. What happened to her?
If I told Detective Constable Edmonds that she was a little sapling that one day would grow into a beautiful old tree, you know what she'd say, Mama? She'd say I was drunk.
Would she? Did you try?
Yeah, when we lived together.
You lived together like cats and dogs. You didn't ask that lovely young woman to marry you? You didn't, did you?
I tried. Sort of. Look, her uncle died, you know. I went to the funeral in Melbourne.
Patrick, you are going to grow into a lonely old man. Comes to his mother to steal nuts. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you'd gone home.
No, it's just a ruse to get rid of the elves. Stop looking after the old bloke.
The old bloke needs looking after, does he?
Oh, don't you start, Chris.
Listen, what Julie said to you earlier, don't let that get to you. You see, the way Mark dumped her wasn't nice. It was in here, right in front of a full bar. She chucked a bourbon and coke at him, followed by the glass, followed by a chair.
Shit sounds like Mark, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Who'd he dump her for? I mean, it could tell us who he was fighting.
Well, I never saw the new one. And when he didn't bring him in here, it meant they're either married or under bar age. You worried?
Oh, I reckon I got a right to be, Chris.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Nick. Senior Constable Schultz. Detective Senior Constables Ryan and Scolati.
On the phone you said Dee's from Melbourne.
We are.
You're from homicide.
Mark died of asphyxiation. The cushion we found had saliva on it. Matched up to Mark's blood type. He drank a lot of beer and whiskey, but not enough to kill him. Someone smothered him with a cushion.
I interviewed Schultz yesterday. I have to get back to St David's. Here are my notes. PJ?
As I said in the car, Nick is the man least likely.
Well, all the more reason to eliminate him first.
I hope I'm not hearing a closing of the ranks, am I?
Oh, I'm very soft on her own, Sergeant. Notorious for it, in fact.
And I hope I'm not hearing a witch hunt. I'd like to observe the interview.
Your local knowledge will be most welcome. Just for the record, Nick, did you kill him?
Just for the record, Gino, no, I didn't kill him.
From all accounts, he was a bit of a pants man. Racing off your girlfriend, was he?
Oh, now listen.
Sergeant, if you'd rather not take part in the interview process, you'll let me know.
If someone did this bloke in, it wasn't me.
Take a look at your hands, mate.
I did changing a wheel last week.
Too fresh. Try again.
I took the top of it off when I was helping up the stairs.
Whoever Mark was fighting hit him in the face. The bloke could skin his knuckles.
The fight happened before I apprehended him. If I were you two, I'd stop wasting your time and go find the fella he was fighting with.
You talked to him last. Any ideas?
He wouldn't say what happened. It could be any bloke in Mount Thomas.
How popular was he?
No, it's like you said. He's a pants man. They're not a popular breed in a country town, not once they start poaching.
Any bloke in Mount Thomas includes you.
I said the fight happened when I was in the station.
What about the second fight, Nick? The fight with the cushion?
The pillow fight, Nick. That's the one we want to know about.
Look.
You were his last known contact.
You asked us all to come in?
Yes. I'm very sorry to bother you at a time like this. We need to take fingerprints from you all to try and work out who's been in Mark's flat and who hasn't.
Well, we haven't been around there since the housewarming, which was 6 months ago.
It's routine. You are Mr...
I'm Robbie, Mark's brother. This is my wife, Janelle.
Hello.
Megan Davies, Mark's mother.
I'm very sorry. Perhaps we might do this in my office. Come on through. These will be destroyed after we're finished with them.
I just can't believe anyone would want to hurt our Mark.
And most of the time, people don't mean it to happen. Burglary that goes wrong. Fight between friends that gets out of hand. Someone panics, loses control.
So you're saying it's just a horrible accident?
A lot of them are. Don't worry, Meg. We'll have you out of here as soon as we can.
Boss, Detectives Ryan and Scarletti said they'd appreciate a word with the family as soon as you finished.
I'm sorry about this.
What's going on?
What's going on is Arthur and Martha think I'm a suspect.
You've got to be joking. Look, I tried to tell him in the car.
If it wasn't me, you'd agree with them, though, wouldn't you? Hey, you're a typical deep, PJ. You listen to me, will you? Chris says that Mark dumped Jilly Miles about a month back. Now, she doesn't know who the new bird is, but she could have a husband. Also, Jilly Miles was really violent when Mark dumped her.
All right, so you got to tell the D's this
Yeah, I did. All they did was take a note and get back to why I wanted to bump Mark off myself. Would you like me back, then?
Not for the moment, no. Why don't you go and book a few punters for speeding while we talk to the Davies family?
Good-o. That sounds like fun. Wayne.
So who were his enemies?
Mark. Enemies? Why would he have enemies? Mark was a very popular boy, wasn't he, Tom?
Well, even the nicest people can have enemies, Lloyd.
Sometimes men that are popular with the ladies aren't so popular with the men.
Oh, he had his girlfriends, just like all young single fellas. Are you saying someone killed him because of a girlfriend?
Possible, wouldn't you say?
Well, anything's possible.
Do you have a theory of your own, Mr. Davies?
Don't you? Wasn't it obvious? Mark was a very strong boy, but drunk or sober, he could put up a fight. And the last person seen with him was your Nick Schultz, who's a bloody giant.
Now, Lloyd...
Are you saying Nick Schultz had a reason for killing your son?
Or maybe he didn't need a reason. Look, Mark was a good boy. But with a few drinks in, well, he could be awkward. Maybe your man lost his temper. Didn't know his own strength.
Well, I don't know that I should be doing this.
Chrissy, somebody murdered him. Put a cushion over his face. Now, the person who did it may drink in this bar. You feel good about that?
Okay, point taken.
All right. It's mostly first names. Ali.
Well, that'd have to be Alice and Hendricks, but I haven't seen them in here together, I don't know, for about a year.
He had no enemies. He was a very loving, wonderful boy. He wouldn't harm anyone. But one of you people harmed him, all right. Either that or didn't look after him when he needed it.
By one of us people, you mean?
Schultz, the one who's so keen on booking people going about their business. He's the one you should be talking to.
See, you're not making much sense, Robbie, saying Mark didn't have enemies. Somebody killed him. Hardly the action of a friend.
Look, he played around. He was a good-looking bloke and women liked him. There's no law against that, is there?
None at all.
People didn't like it, though, did they?
You couldn't help liking him.
Well, someone didn't. Whose nose was he getting up?
I wish I could help you.
Right.
Mr. Davies?
Would you like me to stay?
No, thanks.
Lexi.
Lexi? She's not in there, is she? She's still at school.
Sally Greenwood.
Starting young. She's Lexi's best friend. She's not even 16 yet. I mean, it's not like he was even in their class at school. He was 25.
Oh, she was around to be charged.
Well, I never see him in here, if that's what you're asking.
All right. Parents, brothers?
Well, Sally's dad works at the co-op, managerial Rotary.
Right. So Sally's a middle-class kid with a secret life. What about Lexi?
Oh, decent family. Not so high in the town pecking order. Her dad's a council gardener over at St David's.
Physical type?
Well, if you're looking for the angry father type, I'd put my money on Sally's before Lexi's.
Oh, I still keep thinking about this Jilly Miles. This married woman she got done for.
Well, hadn't you better go and see Jilly yourself? Now, listen, I've got to go.
Thanks, Chrissy.
Mark ever put the hard word on any friends of yours?
No. Robbie and I don't tend to mix in the same circles as Mark. We tend to go out more with young married couples.
So he never tried to knock you off, for instance?
Do I have to put up with this, Tom?
Yes, you do.
He would have known better than to ask.
Well, you see, what we hear, he didn't know better. He was an animal.
Mark was my brother-in-law. He marries someone, you get in-laws.
It must have been very hard for you sometimes, Mrs. Davies.
You didn't like him.
He's dead.
You are a very attractive woman, Mrs. Davies.
What Gino's trying to say is that Mark did put the hard word on you, didn't he?
No, he did not.
Getting out of this town?
The night he dumped you, it's very public.
I could work anywhere. Could work in boutiques in Melbourne. I have before.
Flying drinks, glasses,
Sydney,
that
if I
sort
want
of
it.
thing. You know who he dumped you for? Jilly? Married, was she? You were very fond of Mark, weren't you, Jilly?
I loved him. Bloody idiot. You know, I really thought I could move in with him, you know?
Marry him?
Down the track, yeah.
Look, what's a smart girl like you seeing a cowboy like that?
Are you playing social worker or mind games?
Come on, Jilly. Now, I need a name.
Miss Goody Two-Shoes? Oh, she didn't kill him.
No, maybe your old man did.
You've got to be kidding. Mark was the most man I've ever had. Goody Two-Shoes' husband couldn't have killed him in a million years.
I need a name, Jilly. I need a name now.
Janelle Davies.
Sister-in-law?
Yeah, she was going to leave her husband for Mark. He told me all about it the night I threw the drink at him. He was going to live with that stuck-up bitch.
Mate, this is a very, very bad idea. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, it's got to be done, that, Dick.
I got nothing to say to you.
Mr. Davis, I want you to know how sorry I am.
Nothing at all.
Mate, I know what you're going through. I do.
No, you don't. But get out. Get off my property.
Flaming idiot.
Look, I just have to tell him how
No,
sorry.
you did not. What possessed you to do a thing like that? I rely on you to be sensible and show the junior officers how things ought to be done. You can't pull a stunt like this.
Yeah, I know it looks...
It looks like intimidation, Nick. If only you'd given the family time to grieve.
Look, I'm sorry, it wasn't a very bright idea.
Oh, get your act together, will you? Internal investigations are sending a couple of officers up tomorrow. Something to do with procedural matters relating to handling of prisoners. Jilly Miles is making allegations about Mark and Janelle.
Robbie was at home all night.
And he'll say the same about you, will he, Janelle?
Am I supposed to be a suspect? Look, whoever did this held him down. Do you people have any concept of just how strong Mark was?
Tell us.
He was a stonemason. I tap a computer keyboard at the council. I'm hardly going to overpower him.
Mark was going around saying that you and him were lovers.
Certain types of men will say that if you knock him back.
That you're going to live together.
Why would I leave a terrific bloke like Robbie to shack up with a violent sleaze like Mark? I'd have to have my head read.
If Robbie found out you were having it off with Mark, would he get violent?
He'd pity me because he'd know I was an idiot.
You were having an affair, right?
You are beneath contempt. I'm going.
We'll need to speak again after we've spoken with Robbie.
When Robbie hears what you people have been saying to me, he won't want to speak to you.
This is a murder investigation, Mrs. Davies. Do not impede it or we'll arrest you. Miss Davies will be waiting. She might like a cuppa. Robbie? Cup of coffee, Robbie?
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Gino's a coffee expert. I'll help you carry, Gino.
Right. Here's how I see it, Robbie. Mark was screwing your missus.
What?
She was going to leave him for him.
No.
You stopped him outside the pub, landed a few, then went on your way.
That's not true.
Then you went back to his place later, found him drunk, and then you killed him. Am I right?
Dead wrong. I was home all night. Janelle can confirm that.
You can't, matey. You were seen. Mark had a very nosy neighbour. You had motive, too. The only trouble is, Janelle's going away, too.
What are you talking about?
Perjury. Accessory after the fact. Should go to jail, matey. Robbie? You love her, don't you? You love her very much. And you're gonna send her to jail.
Mark raped her. My brother raped my wife.
He came over one night when Robbie was at a local government training seminar in Melbourne. Said Robbie had asked him to come over and fix the kitchen tap.
So you let him in?
Why wouldn't I? I believed him. You see, he did things for Robbie. He was good with his hands, Robbie isn't.
Good with his hands?
I just thought that Robbie had forgotten to tell me. Mark had had a few. He insisted that I join him for one whilst he fixed the tap.
So you drank together?
I knew it would go like this, I just knew it.
Take your time. Try to tell us what happened.
He wanted to wash the grease off his hands. He came out of the bathroom and he had all his clothes off. I couldn't believe it. He just wouldn't take no for an answer. Mark's always used to getting his own way, right? So when it was over...
Hang on. When what was over?
What do you think? When he finished raping me.
You're saying that there was no consent on your part?
No. I fought him. I begged him to stop.
So when it was over?
He wanted to be all lovey-dovey. I finally got him out of there and I went and took a shower for about an hour or so. I still felt dirty. And I tried to forget it.
You didn't think of reporting it?
Are you kidding? Do you know what a lawyer would have done to me in court?
No. What?
He would have said, it was after dark, you knew this man's reputation and yet you let him into your house, you had a drink with him.
All true.
I couldn't put Robbie through that. His mother would have sided with Mark. I would have been the evil bitch. There's no way, so I just tried to forget it.
So what happened?
Mark hadn't had enough. He wanted more. I told him to rack off, but he just kept on phoning and knocking on the door when Robbie wasn't there. I told him I'd tell his father or his mother, the police, Robbie, but he'd just laugh at me. Knew I was bluffing.
Janelle, you could have come to us and got an intervention order.
That would have meant telling Robbie and the family. You see, by this stage, he believed that I was in love with him. He decided that he wanted me to come and live with him. I just laughed at him. And the day before yesterday, he went and told Robbie.
I didn't believe it when he told me. I thought it was some kind of sick joke.
So what convinced you?
Janelle has a little birthmark. It's not on public display, and he could describe it. He told me she was going to leave me and go and live with him. So I went home to ask her about it, and she told me the truth.
What you thought was the truth? Are you sure he hadn't just dumped her? Sure she wasn't trying to get back at him?
You obviously don't know Janelle.
So why didn't you come to us?
I would have brought it out in the open. Janelle didn't want that. No, I went looking for him. I caught up with him at the back of the pub. He was getting out of his car. I went crazy. I just started punching at him. All his life, he's always got everything he wanted. Any girl at school, any girl around the town, and the one girl he couldn't have, the one girl that I had, he had to take from me. I could have killed him right then. But I didn't. I let him push me off and he walked into the pub.
You didn't follow him?
That would have made it public, wouldn't it? I thought it was bad enough at this point.
Then what?
It was about midnight. The phone rang and the answering machine was on, but the monitor was turned up so we could hear it. He started talking about how, you know, about him and Janelle. It was unbelievable. You know, this is the woman that I love, you know, the only woman in my life. So I got dressed and I went over to his place. The door was open. He does that sometimes to let some air in. And I went in and he was pissed. He was kind of half lying off the settee and he saw me. And he looked up at me and he grinned at me. So I took a cushion and I shoved it in his face and I knelt on his chest. And I stayed there until he stopped kicking.
It's over, Nick. Robbie just admitted it.
Do you reckon Robbie could have got him in a cell at St David's?
There are some questions you mustn't ask, Nick.